Good morning, everyone. This is Vanvasi Project India, and we are going to present to all our stakeholders from the government and private stakeholders about how is Vanvasi Project India going to penetrate into rural areas by our case study that we have taken up in the village of Nari Bari near Prayagraj, formerly Allahabad in the state of Uttar Pradesh, India. Vanvasi Project India, powered by Rishabh Design Foundation, which is a startup registered under DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. Our initiative is finding the barriers in promoting marketing, non-farm livelihoods and non-timber forest. We need to provide marketing support to the products from the tribal and the rural origins because poor do not have the purchasing power to back the demand. We cannot assume them as the consumer, but we can make them, skill them, upskill them as a developer, as a creator. As a result, this commodity will not be procured and supplied as per market forces. We have to understand the market forces rather than going by emotion. These market forces define the success of why and how their products, whether allied product, whether it is an achar, whether it is an amras, whether it is an amla product, how will it sell? As we know, our national income as well as per capita income is very low, and in India unemployment is structural compared to other countries in which it is cyclical. Our government has been taking a lot of steps like making hearts, making kisan bazaars, but this is not enough. The farmer's family sitting at home needs to get Atmanirbhar. India exported around 4.4 million metric tons of basmati rice worth 4.7 billion USD, but still the price is very high in the domestic market, and the reason is the supply chain. The farmer is not getting the money for his hard work. And this is because the mediators in between the farmer and the final consumer take up the whole profit, and the farmer is still getting 20 rupees per kg, although he is investing his time, sweat and blood into making all these produces. Agriculture has to open a new chapter, but how will it open a new chapter? Our startup aims to provide strategic marketing to products that can sell 365 days, 12 months with complete robust supply chain. We have to upskill our rural labor force with craft development techniques, allied products, making them skilling them up, making different products like jams, like other things that are non-perishable. We have to run campaigns, and we have to make sure that there is a huge credit flow in the tribal as well as the agricultural economy, and that is the only solution. And it can only happen when people will start working from their homes and become Atmanirbhar as the vision of our great Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi ji. And this will happen when we will understand the problems like the low resources endowment. There are considerable opportunities for agribusiness development in India, but they have to be made aware to these folks. Water scarcity is a big issue, and we need to work on this by creating rainwater harvesting systems in each and every village, in each and every district, not each and every village, but in every part of the village. And this will help us sustain a lot of things. And the biggest problem is agricultural credit. We have to eliminate the money lender and make our banks and microcredit institutions, which are in the form of startups, in the form of small enterprises that penetrate the rural sector and give this huge fruit of microcredit. There is inequality in the distribution of income and assets. Some farmer has a small piece of land, and other has a big chuck, and the big chuck farmer that has a big piece of land in between the whole farming planning, he gets a loan, while the small farmer does not get a loan. So we need microcredit institutions into this rural system. And there is a huge problem of perishability of products. Product खराब हो जाते हैं. जैसे कि कई प्रोडक्ट्स हैं वो 4 दिन के ट्रांसपोर्टेशन नहीं करा जा सकता, वो 2 दिन में ख़राब हो जाते हैं। सीजनैलिटी है प्रोडक्शन में, बल्कीनेस है प्रोडक्ट्स की। प्रोडक्ट को 2 महीने एक फल का सीज़न है लेकिन वो अगले 4 महीने अनअवेलेबल रहता है मार्केट में। क्वालिटी वेरिएशन है प्रोडक्ट्स का, अलग अलग टाइप की दाल है। एक्सपोर्ट में क्वालिटी चाहिए, एक तरीके का सामान चाहिए, इरेगुलर सप्लाई है प्रोडक्ट्स की। ये वो सारी समस्याएं हैं जो ग्रास रूट लेवल पे जो हमारा रूरल लेबर फोर्स है, वर्क फोर्स है, उसको ये समस्याएं आती हैं। और सबसे बड़ी बात है अवेयरनेस नहीं है गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम्स की फॉर द मार्जिनलाइज, जिसकी वजह से वो पिछड़ रहे हैं और वो मार्जिनलाइज्ड हैं। इंटीरियर प्रोडक्ट्स, आर्किटेक्चरल में बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट्स हो सकते हैं जो इंटीरियर डिज़ाइनर्स एंड आर्किटेक्ट्स के लिए बन सकते हैं, फ्रॉम बैम्बू एंड अ लॉट ऑफ अदर थिंग्स, and we have to train them for that, and that is why we can come up with financial inclusion if we start exporting them. Uttar Pradesh is also a big producer of milk, but we only know Gujarat because of the cooperatives running there, because they are very structural, very hierarchical, and a collective effort is happening there. And milk is also perishable, and it is a huge problem to transport that. Products like honey, wild honey, tomatoes, and so many other dry fruits and products, they are homemade pickles, all can be marketed and sold directly to the consumer as well as wholesalers in the urban market, giving a lot of chunk of profit to our rural labor force so that they can earn money and make them self-sustainable, and then we can say that these are self-sustaining communities. Village bazaars can be linked to the urban bazaars, and every week there can be a bazaar, and that is the only way we can give a infrastructural support and marketing and value addition to these products, because if people will see it, they will only give a feedback and improvement can be done, and then only we can give them access to social services. NGOs can penetrate, they can support certain sections of the society, and then only we can deepen the roots of agriculture. And if we provide infrastructures like reefer trucks, then perishable items and seasonal items can be transported. Cold storages can be provided to freeze up our seasonal material and provide them in the next season also. So all these things should be given access to the rural economy, and there is a lack of productive employment. There is low productivity in agriculture because a lot of time has been invested in producing one set of crop, and the time remaining can be used in, like for example, bamboo weaving and a lot of other crafts that have a market for 12 months. The wastage encountered during the transportation and storage is yet another problem, because there is a specific temperature and humidity condition needed for preservations and bulk transportations. The problem can be sorted out, as we have told earlier, by reefer trucks for transportation of perishable items, but all this needs a lot of support from our government, from the state, that is defined by Article 13, and latest technology that can be incorporated even at barren lands like the aquaponics, hydroponics, and farmers should be trained to use them. But all this technology gets stuck with politics and old policies, and there is the biggest issue of improper marketing of agricultural and rural tourism, which has a lot of potential to bring a lot of money into the agricultural and rural local economy. A lot of strategies have been formulated by the government in the forms of various acts, various policies, various steps that we have mentioned in our report about the different policies at different time intervals. The inaccessibility to institutional credit may force the poor to take credit from the landlord or other informal sources, which entraps them into the cyclic chart of debt. It is a vicious cycle of poverty, and ultimately destroys the motivation of the rural farmer and encourages him to end his life. And that is why we need financial institutions in our rural system to help them grow with sustainable development. A lot of learnings have been done by our startup, and we will explore them more in our further presentations. Thank you.